You are on record.
Announcement is made that adequate notice of this meeting has been given and that is being conducted in accordance with NJSA 10:4-6 et sec of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act. Want to call the roll, Nora?
Mr. Berkowitz.
Here.
Mr. Mazzarella.
Here.
Mr. Parikh.
Here.
Mr. Reddy.
Present.
Ms. Snyder.
Here.
Chairman Irakin.
Present.
We also have our board planner, Mr. Chadwick.
Present.
Our board engineer, Mr. Holloway, and our board attorney, Mr. King.
Start off with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's take a moment to remember December 7th, 1941. As President Roosevelt said, it was a day in infamy. God bless all the military that lost their lives that day, and let's hope we never see another attack like that on our country. At this point in this meeting, is there any member of the public that has anything to be brought to this board that is not on this evening's agenda? Hear none, see none. We've got some resolutions to approve.
Yes.
What do we have? Two? Is that all? Three? Two?
There's
Two.
three. There's only two on the agenda. One got added on.
Okay, application 2227, Mazzarella, Parikh, Reddy, and me.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second. Casey?
Any discussion? Nora, call the roll.
Mazzarella.
Yes.
Parikh.
Yes.
Reddy.
Yes.
Irakin.
Yes. Application 2240, Mazzarella, Parikh, Reddy, and Irakin.
So moved. Second. Casey?
Any discussion? Nora, call the roll.
Jaskowitz. Sorry, he's not here. Mazzarella.
Yes.
Parikh. Parikh.
Yes.
Reddy.
Yes.
Irakin.
Yes. 1956, Berkowitz, Mazzarella, Parikh, Schneider, Reddy, and Irakin. Someone want to move it?
So moved. So moved.
There's a second?
Second, Snyder.
Any discussion? Nora, call the roll.
Berkowitz.
Yes.
Mazzarella.
Yes.
Reddy.
Yes.
Snyder.
Yes.
Irakin.
Yes.
I apologize. Who made the motion?
Aye.
And who seconded that?
Snyder.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, the first application on tonight's agenda, application 2222, Sandeep Mehta, is he present?
Have a seat, please.
Ma'am, could you raise your right hand? You swear firm testimony you're about to give before the board is the true self you got? And for the record, you're Ms. Sandeep Mehta?
Sandeep Mehta is my husband.
Okay.
He's traveling for work.
And your name?
So, my name is Naya Mehta,
How do you spell that?
Naiya.
And you're the owner of the subject property?
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. You can have a seat.
Okay, you want to legalize a paver patio and gravel walks, paver driveway expansion, paver and gravel driveway expansion, 9-foot high fence, which is a 6-foot high fence with a 3-foot faux green fencing. You need variances for fences, accessory side yard, accessory rear yard, plan and design standards for the driveway width, plan and design standards driveway setback, and impervious coverage.
Bob, they were carried from August 3rd to meet with the township engineer, which she did go and meet with him. She met with Brandon, but he did not send a review in time.
He didn't send us a report?
A matter
No.
of fact, I was there when Brandon came, like, month and a half ago,
Correct.
and he has to make a plan and give them. And apparently what happened, did he,
He just got back on Monday.
Monday?
This Monday, and Sandeep is already talking with them,
Oh.
and we may come back with, there are a couple of options,
he
right?
didn't give a report?
No, he
Oh,
has
okay.
not given any report yet, but based on the verbal talk, we are considering maybe a pit or French drain, some kind of option. But
So
we
you-
have not decided
Ma'am, are you
yet.
do you want to carry this then?
Or maybe we can approve based on the engineer's, do you agree with the engineering's report? If he suggests something to do.
Well,
I think it's there now, so it's gotta be corrected, so
Yeah, they are willing to.
I would think it would make.
I was
more-
there actually.
Yeah.
Our
I
husband
think it would make more sense to have a plan here. That we're not holding you up on anything, it's all done.
all done.
So I would think it makes more sense for the board to see the plan.
How long ago was all this work done?
Yeah, so why don't you ask to carry it, when you, who's ever doing the plan for you gets back and gets it done, the engineer can then say, okay.
Yes.
I think you'll have some discussion on this 9-foot fence stuff. What is that all about?
9-foot fence, the back one you wanted to remove, right?
Yeah, that we are going to remove. The 6 foot is the regular one, and there is just the fourth.
Something up on the document?
Yeah, it's just a
That is the removal.
So that'll show on the plan.
Okay, yeah, we can remove that. That's not a problem at all.
That is already been.
Okay. All right, I think it's better off to have the plan here, it doesn't hurt it.
So, ma'am, you're going to request that this matter be carried to a date in the future to give your professional or whoever you've hired to submit a plan, to be able to submit it to the plan so that the board, so they can review it?
Pete, can you carry it?
Yeah.
Threw away
Whatever meeting, so she doesn't have to re-notice?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Make and you'll give us any and all extensions?
That is correct. Yeah.
Get your landscaper and ask him to get the sketch as per
Okay.
engineer.
Absolutely, yeah. So as soon as we have a report, right, we are going to also talk to the civil engineer and then get
He
it
says they
done.
took the
Yeah,
fence down.
based on the recommendations.
So it's regular 6 foot in the backyard.
March, April.
Okay, I'm gonna give you, by February 15th, you have to have something by the engineer. You guys
Okay.
work something out, have a plan.
Thank you so
we'll
much.
see you
So
then.
we just need to make a motion and then a second.
I have one question. We were talking about the fence going from, you're just taking 3 foot off of it, or taking the whole fence down?
Yeah, no, not the whole fence. The 6 foot is already there, and it's not put by us, it's by the neighbor. And just the above that, right? It's something like plastic.
Hanging, something.
Why not? Because I know we usually, the 6 foot height thing is something we usually talk about. So if you're only taking 3 foot off, it's still 6 foot.
Right.
Does that
Right.
gotta be,
That is approved.
that's gotta be discussed, okay.
Yeah.
That's approved.
This is that fence, I guess, but that's it's her fence.
All right, when are we carrying this to?
February 15th.
Motion to carry case 2222 to February 15th, 18th?
So moved.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Yeah, February 15th.
February 15th, with no further notice and with whatever extensions are required. Do I have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Is there a second? A second to that?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, we'll see you on the 15th of February.
Thank you so much.
Contact the engineer and as well as your landscape guy. Have a plan, right, Jagat?
Yep.
If you need a
Tell
call
them to put
me,
a
I'll
note
answer.
on, tell them to put a note on there that 3 foot.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, application 2252, Mayan De Los Santos. C variance to construct a patio.
Ma'am, could you raise your right hand? Do you swear firm testimony you have to give before the board is true self you got? And for the record, you are
See the engineer's report.
and the owner of the subject property? Okay, thank you. You're sworn to.
De Los Santos,
Yes.
have you seen the December 6th
Yes, I actually just spoke with the engineer who inspected my house. I actually went to the Department of Engineering this morning.
You have to speak up a little
Oh, so
louder,
sorry.
please.
I actually visited the Department of Engineering this morning to
Right.
clarify just the notice and like what I needed to do
Okay.
to make sure
But do
everything
you,
can.
but do you see where he says there's things on your property that are not on the survey?
Those were after the application.
Well,
I mean, I ordered the shed, okay, the fire pit, that doesn't exist. He mistaken that as like one of those blow-up jacuzzi things from Walmart, the Salute spas.
So you don't have a fire pit?
Yeah, that's not a fire pit, and
Okay.
I told him that
But
that wasn't.
the fact that you put it in after submitting the application, you're
but
asking for an approval today, so we have to give you approval based on what the property looks like today, not before you put the shed up. Okay, so it changes your impervious coverage.
With the shed I got from Amazon?
He says there's a shed there.
He says there's two sheds.
There's two sheds.
The one shed I had on the left, I ordered from Amazon. That I was like a build-your-own shed.
Doesn't matter, is it?
So I
It's
still
there,
need
correct?
Yes, it's there.
How big is it?
It's a 8x6.
And you put it up,
Is there also a patio in the back, a small, that's where the fire pit is? There is a patio in the back, right?
I'm asking
Other
for a
than two
patio.
sheds, yeah. The
A patio
existing
to
one,
be-
yeah. They exist, the one that exists, yeah.
12 by 13.
Yeah.
12, and it's like square.
let's review this survey. Did you draw this building on here, or was this survey is 70 years old?
Yeah, that was the most recent one I could find in my
I'm
record.
sorry?
That was the most recent one I could find in my records.
Do you own the property?
Yes, my
When
parents
you
transferred.
bought it, you didn't get a survey?
This was the only survey that my parents had, that they still had.
So your parents bought the house 70 years ago?
My parents bought the house in 96.
Your parents bought the house in 96, so they didn't get a survey in 96.
This was the only survey that they had on them.
You know, to conclude that this survey shows, who drew the building on there?
Which building?
This cross-hatched, one-story frame building that's shown on the survey.
That was the original copy that I had, and I made photocopies of this as is.
That was shown on the survey dated
1952.
October 1st, 1952.
Yes, this is the only copy I had.
That's 5 years old.
How about the shed in the back? Who drew that on?
That I just added to show.
How do we know it's 3 feet off the property line?
Well, when I submitted my application, I gave all the information that I had, and they said that with any other information that they had on file from the town, they would just adjust it, or,
They gave you that information.
yes,
Okay.
when I went to the zoning department.
So that shed was there when you got the house?
No, that shed I applied for already. That had a permit back in 2017,
Okay,
I believe.
okay.
That was the
And,
12 by
3
10
feet
shed?
is legal?
I don't know. No.
There was a previous application.
Yes.
Oh,
What else did you add to this survey?
2018, January 17th.
okay.
Those numbers, 40 feet wide?
From the first shed.
I didn't add any of those.
It says proposed patio, 190 square feet, and there's some dimensions for it. Did you put that on there?
It came from zoning.
I did do a drawing. I don't know if they added that to the finalized app, because this is my final copy
I mean,
here.
you didn't go out and hire a surveyor to get this plan. You found it with your...
I just gave an
some
example
records.
of the idea and like what I had for them to
Right. And
just provide whatever I
Did you
can.
add to this?
Just to show like my dimensions of what I would want for the
You did
pavers
that?
patio, yes.
Okay.
If that's what
How about the words proposed 190 square feet of patio? Did you add that?
that,
That's the zoning department. They
Oh, that
did
was the zoning?
They typed that in there?
Mhm.
Okay.
And they likely put the dimensions on, is that a deck in the back? Whatever's off the house, I don't know what that is.
There's also a walkway from the front that shows on one and doesn't show on the other. I don't know if that's calculated into the impervious or...
Where the stairs moved from the original location, the stairs are a different location. They're now, one they're in the driveway and the other one they're extended to the front.
Yeah.
Walkway? Oh, that's the walkway in the front of the house you're
It's only on one drawing, it's not on the other.
The stairs.
Hey, David.
And the stairs
For
are.
the record, Mr. Willens is here. Yeah, the stairs disappear and a walkway appears, huh?
It seems like it's a moot point to review this without having an update survey. Some pictures and a survey that's more current than 1952.
What's wrong with that? I was 5 years old.
It was a good year.
In your search for the survey information on this, I bet you jumped over this. Your parents owned the house.
Yep.
Now you own it?
Yes, they transferred the title to deed to me back in 2014.
Okay. So you've never gone through financing, or generally when you get mortgages and whatever, have to get a survey,
Mm-hmm.
and you've never done that?
No. And this was the only,
Can't
like,
imagine
recent,
70 years went by.
recent copy.
And
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Never
wonder
a
how,
survey.
you wonder how many, because our parents bought it in
And this
'96,
was
you
the
wonder how many
only
people owned it from '52 to
information that
'96
they
if it
had.
wasn't the
I
same
mean,
owner. It may have, may have changed hands again.
Someplace.
Do you want, let's try and get past the fact that this, survey is
Is that
almost
a-
as old as me. It is as old as John, so.
Younger than me.
Do you understand what Mr. Lizza is saying about water runoff? And the
Yes,
fact
like,
that
you
you put,
need something to collect the stormwater?
you need to have an engineering plan
Mm-hmm.
as to how you're gonna deal with the runoff, because you're, well, unfortunate for your purposes, you only have a 40 by 100 lot. And they're in a zone that I'm sorry, what?
125.
Oh, okay, 40 by 125. And a standard lot in this zone is 6,000 square feet, 60 by 100. So you're dealing from not having enough property, first of all. Second of all, you're looking to, you're looking to have almost 50% impervious coverage.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to have a plan as to how you're gonna deal with runoff, because we don't want the runoff going onto your neighbor's property
Mhm.
or something like that.
Mhm.
Do you have such a plan?
I was speaking with the engineer, he said he would assist me, and I'm willing to take the help in order to organize a plan like the seepage pit or anything to control like stormwater management. Because
I'm
even
I'm
from-
sorry, my hearing is not the
I
best. You have to
apologize, sir.
speak a little bit louder.
So when I was talking to the engineering, Brandon, because he was the one that
Okay,
inspected my...
from the town?
Yes, so I went to talk to him this morning, and I said I was willing to get any help and like figure out a plan in order to do the stormwater management.
Right.
Whether it was seepage pit or something that can be more like...
Right, like we used to call them dry wells. in the
Yeah,
day, where the-
something,
The water,
so,
you
yeah,
dig a
so
hole
he
in the
said he would
ground, you
be
fill it
willing
with...
to like draw something up for me so that way I can still comply.
Who's gonna draw this up for you?
Brandon said he would help assist me, or I can just ask another engineer 'cause-
Is that,
for any
is that
guidance in order to
usual, Nora?
comply.
No, they don't,
Or just gave me
draw
suggestions.
it up. They might give you suggestions.
Yeah, like just
that-
any ideas or plans, and then I
But
can
they
take.
don't create it for you.
Yeah, but like
so-
just to take the next step. To be able to comply with what needs to be followed.
So you're here because you went to get another permit for this shed that you already put up?
No.
Is that why you're here?
No.
For the pavers
patio.
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 The pavers patio, sir.
Okay, you have not built that yet.
No. So I just wanted to
The
get,
driveway is pre-existing, that's there.
That was
Yes.
approved.
that's already there.
Okay. So you need to sit down with the township engineer and figure out what it is. You can show it on a plan or have it verified by another engineer. Somehow or other, it's gotta be solid information.
And they have to come up with like a drawn up, I guess, layout of,
Yes,
okay.
yes.
They would come up with a plan to mitigate the water runoff to the neighbors, so this plan you're wanting to do could be approved.
Okay.
I mean, really, you're dealing with 190 plus a little bit more for sheds. You're not dealing with a big, complicated.
Very nice inheritance.
Yeah, but it's worth noticing.
Yeah, I was like,
This is
oh,
an
being a homeowner
elevated area
stress.
in South Watkins and North Berwick.
Yeah,
It's elevated.
I'll do
It
what
goes
I have to
down from
do.
there.
I know it is.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think the water table's up near the surface either, in that area.
Is that where it's sanding? The soil is sanding?
I'm not sure.
What? Is it near?
Sandy, the soil.
There's parts of Parsippany that have sandy soil. They don't have the clay like my house has.
Oh, right, no, we have clay.
Yeah, and so do I, but
Yeah.
there are some areas that it's not.
Yeah, that is.
I'm within.
Where the lake used to be.
It doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. It could be one
Yeah,
block over,
This is
you
by
know.
Bank of America.
There might have been old, might have been old riverbeds or something like that.
Okay.
I'm not a geologist. I'm gonna tell you that you're gonna have to carry this case. You're gonna have to come back with a plan,
Okay.
okay? And I would not count on the township to draw up your plan. I think you need to hire an engineer to say, he's gonna say, this is how we're gonna deal with the runoff from this property.
Mm-hmm.
He'll do elevations. It's gonna cost you a few bucks, but we can't just let you go ahead and put 50% impervious coverage,
Yeah.
because it might affect your neighbors, and that's not good.
Mhm.
So, when can we carry this case to, Nora?
We'll take this one to February 15th as well.
Okay, is that acceptable? You'll be
Yes,
able to get
that's fine.
somebody by then? Thank
Mhm.
you. Okay, and we're gonna ask you for an extension of time if necessary. So with that, I ask, is there a motion to carry this case to February 15th without further notice?
So moved, Snyder.
And with whatever extensions are required. Is there any member of the public here who's here for this application tonight? Are you a neighbor?
You have to identify yourself.
Okay, I can't take any testimony from you right now. I can't take any testimony from you right now. All you can do is ask questions of the witness if you want to ask questions, okay? But you cannot present any documentation at this point. You can't testify. That comes much later in the application, okay?
And the matter's been carried to that date
Yeah.
of February.
But if you have a question of her about the testimony she gave tonight, that you can do that. We have a procedure that we go through.
What I was concerned about, we had discussed prior to this beginning.
Okay.
Well, so
Okay.
she's gonna put a plan together that she's gonna present, and then that's probably when you wanna ask questions and talk to your neighbor to see if there's any issue that you may have. She could address that, so there is no problems. Okay, great.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay,
Keep
that's
going.
good? That's
Yeah,
carried?
I'm good.
Everything's carried?
So
Everybody's
moved, Snyder.
happy? Do we ever take a vote on the, did we take a vote on carrying it? That I don't
Yes.
even
Yeah.
remember. Yes, we did?
We
Okay.
had a motion, Ms. Snyder.
Okay, 2 for 2. Let's go for
We didn't vote, we have to vote, aye.
2256 James Caputo. C variance to legalize a shed.
Sir, if you could raise your right hand, you swear affirm testimony about the board truth self you got? Yes. And for the record, you're James Caputo? And you're the owner of the subject property?
It's my grandparents.
Okay.
Okay, you have, you want to legalize a 112 square foot shed that's 1 foot off the property line where 6 is required. Building coverage of 23.4 where 21.25 is allowed. Impervious coverage 41.63 where 40% is allowed. You are on Ute Avenue in Lake Hiawatha, is that correct?
That's correct.
And you have an 8,000 square foot lot, which I believe this is R4, yep, you're over the minimum there. And any reason why it's only a foot off the, property line?
Well, it's the only place I could actually fit it on the property.
Could you put it next to your garage?
Well, the problem we have is when you go into the backyard is actually 2 feet lower than the front yard. And it doesn't show it on the plan, but I have photos of it if you want to see it. There's a Japanese maple that's actually right on the side of the garage that goes over the garage into the yard.
Okay,
So there's no possible way to put it there.
unless you cut the tree down.
Unless I cut the tree.
Don't wanna
And
do that.
when you come to the back of the property, the way my property is, if, say I'm standing, the house is behind me,
Yes,
it comes out a little bit and then it dips down to about 3 feet in the back.
okay.
And your neighbor that would be alongside the shed, have you discussed with him or her at all about it?
We're on a non-talking basis.
Oh, so I think they're gonna wanna talk tonight.
Mr. Chairman, there's also an issue in the engineer's report about the size of the driveway. On his inspection, he stated in paragraph number 1 that the driveway appears to be larger than what is illustrated on the survey. This will further increase the existing impervious coverage.
Do we have that information?
It's in the
Okay.
engineer's report.
Can you explain that?
I don't see how it's larger. We had to redo the driveway because the tree fell and actually cracked most of it up. The only thing I could think of is by the window. If you see where the walkway goes onto the patio, there is a window that goes into the house. The way they had to pitch it for drainage, they had to raise the driveway up and put one of those, there's an in-ground drainage, thing right in front of the garage, so the way they pitched it, they had to raise it, so they put a window well in. So around the window well, they put, paver.
Okay.
Sir,
What are you gonna store in the shed?
I'm sorry, sir?
What are you storing in the shed?
What do we have in the shed right now?
Yeah.
Basically stuff from the yards, my son's stuff, and then if we get approved for the solar panels, that's where the battery housings will go. Because unfortunately, I am stuck in clay, and we do have a moisture problem in the basement, so I cannot store the batteries down there.
We're not approving solar panels tonight, are we?
No, I'm still waiting for the government on that one.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Let's back up. This shed is not there now, correct?
No, it is.
It is.
Yes.
She wants approval.
2019. I asked my neighbors, where they got their sheds from. I didn't know anything about a permit, or, if you drive around my neighborhood, the only shed is 6 feet off the line. Every shed is basically on the property line. That's why I didn't think anything of it when I had the shed installed in 2019. We did the shed, after, the driveway was repaired.
How did you get here? Did you get a zoning violation?
This is a code enforcement case.
The neighbor on the side of the
I
shed.
want to know who did it. Did you get something from the township that said you have to?
Zoning was called, and zoning stopped by to see if everything was legal. Everything was legal, but then they asked me about the shed, and, they asked me for a permit for the shed, and I said I didn't know we had to get one, and that's how this started.
Okay.
So you had the shed built in place without a permit
Tape measure?
Yeah, the shed was placed in 2019.
in 2019?
Yes.
It's just like, oh, you know, it was,
And you're just hearing about it now,
how do you say, he looks bigger?
that you're in violation?
Why don't you measure?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm a little baffled.
Yeah, so am I. Shed is there, right?
Yeah, shed's there.
Shed's been there for 3 years.
Yes, sir.
What's the platform the shed is sitting on?
Gravel,
Gravel. So it could be moved, the shed could be moved?
if it was possible to move it, but there's nowhere to move it onto the property. Because if you start going into the backyard, then I would have to build retaining walls, all types of drainage, and then you would raise my property up 3 feet behind, higher than the people behind me. Because the way we have it worked out now is the way the ground is the neighbor to my right and the one behind them, we have a trench dug from the corner of my property through their, and then along their property line. And that's how the water dissipates, so it doesn't flood anyone's backyards. And that's the way the property's been since my grandfather built the house in '52, I think.
So what, you got the water running out to the street?
In the front, it stays where it is. It's clay. It doesn't really go much onto the street since they did the curbs. And then the back, it just dissipates. It either stays in the clay or, I mean, every hard rains, we've had no severe flooding. There's been no issues.
You just talked about a trench.
Yes, there's a trench that we built so there wouldn't be any standing water.
That's just
Oh,
dotted line around here?
It
I'm
just
sorry, sir?
holds the water, you're saying? It's like,
I'm sorry?
it's like a big puddle, the trench.
Basically, if you look at the corner, on the survey where it says lot 14, 31 to 32,
Yeah,
basically right there, along the property line to lot 11 and then lot 14, we made a small trench. So if there was any excess water that, with the heavy rainfall, it would just go into the trench. And then it would just go into the property underneath the trees. Because we installed water, in the back corner, we stored, water soaking bushes. And, and a tree that sucks up water. The landscaper said it's supposed to suck up water to help with the problems with the clay. This is all, this clay, there's nothing really you can do. As far as drainage goes with the driveway, I have the way it's pitched from mid-level of from 3 feet behind the patio stairs, going down into the yard. It's pitched to the garage, then it goes into the trough floor vent, which then goes to a seeping thing underground along the side of the driveway, along the side of the garage that has holes in it that seeps out into the ground, and then it has one of those little pop-up things. And then also we tied into the downspouts, which are buried underneath the walkway, and that goes out into my yard on the other side of the garage, and that also has the seeping tile and the pop-up, drain cover.
okay.
And I have pictures if you need to see everything.
Is there any other questions by the board at this point?
The shed that's there now,
Yes, sir.
where's the door that,
It opens up,
it opens up on which side?
it opens up into my driveway. I bought, it's a narrow, long, short, so it's basically a 7-foot high stockwood fence. I'm 5'11", when I stand inside, if I go like this, I grab the peak, the roof peak. So I got narrow, long, and low. So that was the only type of shed I can physically fit on the
So the
property.
door swings into your driveway?
And there's double doors that if you're in the driveway, it will open this way. If you're in the shed, and you'll walk out into my driveway.
Okay.
And what's the shed made out of?
It's wood framed, plywood floor, shingle roof, and vinyl siding.
Okay. So no metal? No metal?
No.
Okay,
No metal.
thank you.
Is there a fence there?
The neighbor's fence is behind me. Her fence comes, if you look on the survey, comes a little over to the property lines. That's why there's differences because I guess they had to go around the tree. So that's why there's a difference. The back end of the shed's a little further off than the front end of the shed because they had to come around. So they're a couple of inches over onto my property with the fence.
What kind of fence?
It's a very old wood, like stockade type fence.
Solid fence.
No, it's got like, slat on one side, slat on the
Oh,
other side
okay.
with a
So,
quarter
yeah,
inch opening.
50%.
I just have one silly question maybe, but looking at your lot plan here. So in the back of your house, you have a patio,
Yes, sir.
and the garage is off to the right.
Yes, sir.
I guess I'm looking at a big wide open white space that also goes onto the garage, okay?
At the time of the...
You can't do that
Yeah.
because you'll have to leave it here.
Do you have actual pictures? You have actual pictures? No,
No, not on
you
that.
can't,
No, don't do
no,
it.
because then we're gonna keep your iPad and you don't wanna see that.
The tree, there's actually well, there were more trees. I had to take two trees down because
So there's trees in there now, okay,
But there's trees in the way.
okay, got it. Okay.
So, right after the back of that patio, it goes down 2 feet? It's
No,
not level there
no,
behind the
it's-
patio at all?
And when you come in my driveway, in order to get onto that patio, you have to go down 2 steps.
Okay,
So then, the wall itself is 2.5 feet high, and when they redid the driveway, there used to be 3 steps, but they pushed the steps back a little bit, so the steps are part of the driveway.
okay.
So and they made them longer for my grandmother to make it easier for her to get down, because she's 96, so she has problems walking. So to make it easier, so there's 2 steps to go down, so the whole back of the house, from the patio to the backyard, is 2 feet, but as you go further towards the lots in the back, it pitches down. There's one portion where I built a planter, directly behind the patio, like, if you're looking at this way, the neighbor on lot 15, I had to come up 4 railroad ties in the back, which were railroad ties away, 8x8 or 6x6. So in order to make that level with the yard, I had to come up 4.
Okay, so just, say- what is this, 8 foot wide, you said?
It's 8 foot wide, 7.5 feet tall, and, 12 inches long, 12 feet long, I believe.
I'm just
14.
wondering, can you box out with railroad ties, put dirt under it, and put this thing on top of it behind the patio? I mean, that's just another option in my,
The
There's
only,
trees there.
I would.
right behind the patio?
Yes, the tree is,
Where did you get you said you had pictures.
Yeah.
I know,
They're on his
They're
iPad.
on his iPad.
oh, you only have them on the iPad?
Yeah, because
Oh,
when I
I'm
spoke to
sorry.
Jennifer, she said I didn't have to bring the pictures with me. I was just trying to give it for reference. But there's a Japanese maple that my grandfather planted when he built the house. And
I thought you said that was by the garage.
Yeah, I thought
it
you
takes
said
up
that
half
too.
the yard. It's not a small tree.
All right, one other shot in the dark here. Against your house, what's that, the chimney? From the chimney to the stairs off the patio, would the shed fit in there?
No, it's too wide. I'd have to physically then move my driveway onto my neighbor's property. That's the problem it came down to, the only place physically where to put it.
And the garage is what, a 2-car garage?
The 2-car garage, well, the 1950s 2-car garage, so it's, and everything I have in there is what I had in the shed. The shed was crushed by a tree, so I had to remove a lot of stuff from the shed to that, so the shed has been repaired and restructured.
Oh, this shed was in the same place when it was destroyed by a tree?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute, there was
I
a
thought you
shed
said it was 3
exactly
years.
where you're showing it now?
Yes,
Same size?
yes, same shed, I just we had the insurance company paid for a new roof, the siding I fixed myself, and then the roofer fixed the broken rafters and the 2x4s that were.
Wait a minute, this shed that you have here,
Yes,
shown on the plan,
yes, sir.
was crushed, but you repaired it.
Yes, it was, I have,
So that's the only shed that's been there?
When was that shed
Was there a
put
shed?
there?
Yeah,
since 2019.
but there was no shed there before?
Before 2019, no.
Okay, all right, now I get it.
Have you seen the notes from Mr. Lizza, our engineer, about the fact that, he feels you need to do stormwater management?
I was looking at that, and that's why I was a little confused, because I have the drains already set in. I mean, if he wants.
Well,
gutters-
having runoff is not stormwater management. Stormwater management is where you deal with the water on your property. So you put put in dry wells, or whatever they call them these days, and you have your leaders or water coming off your driveway or whatever, it gets dealt with on the property. Putting runoff into the street or into a neighbor, that's not stormwater management, that's just, you worry about it, and I'm not gonna worry about it.
Yeah, but with all the storms that we have, there's been no flooding from it. And
Well, you're asking for more impervious coverage, and, this is what the engineer is saying. I gotta tell you, if you were coming here today and wanted to put this shed where it is, I can pretty much guarantee you'd have 7 no's. So,
The clay from the property is also a little bit of a concern regarding drainage.
I'm sorry, what?
The clay on the property, so you wouldn't be able to use a dry well in that case. You'd have to tie it into, say, the inlet that's existing in front of the property.
Have to tie it into the
Something like that.
storm sewer.
Right.
And I have clay on my property, and I've dealt with it using dry wells, and it's worked out fine.
You're lucky.
You didn't use Chaz.
And I have a very high water table.
Let me ask you, the engineer for the town, did he meet with you, or did he just go make an observation by himself?
he made an observation, nobody met with me. I got a letter in the mail about drainage, and I called up Jennifer to find out what this was about, but she was either on vacation or she was off at the time.
Okay,
And then
it would seem that he should meet with the township engineer to explain what he has done. Whether or not that'll alter his opinion, I don't know. But right now, we're kind of going in circles here.
Yeah, because
And the other part is your explanation of why you can't use your rear yard area. We do need the pictures,
Print them out.
so print them out.
Okay.
All right, at this point, I'm gonna, if there's any member of the public that's here that wishes to ask questions of this witness on the testimony given this evening, this is your opportunity to ask questions. So if you have a question of this witness, please come forward and identify yourself.
I'm just not sure if I.
You have to come up and use a microphone. We won't know who you are unless you identify yourself.
Hi, how are you?
Just for the record, could
My
you
name
state?
is Patricia Cougar, and I live at 11 Avenue, next door to, Mr. Kukuda, who is not the owner of the house. I do have pictures.
I told you, this is not the time for that. You have to ask questions of him.
Okay,
I will
have
give
no
you an
questions.
opportunity to
I have
present
no
your...
questions of him.
That's fine.
Okay.
So we're gonna carry this case, so when the next case is carried to the next day, then if you have questions, or if you have testimony you wanna give, you wanna present pictures, that's your opportunity. But this
Okay.
is just questions.
And
Okay.
just remember with those pictures, they
You
stay
want the
with us.
pictures?
Not yet,
No,
not yet.
no,
but-
I can't accept anything until we get to that part.
But you may want to make copies.
Yes. Okay. Laura, when can we carry this case to?
March 8th.
March 8th. Can you get back here by March 8th and have all the questions answered?
Could I just say too, your lot, I understand your elevation issues and whatever. And I understand your need for the shed, but you sure there's no place else on your lot you could put that shed that would be not right on the property line? Give it some thought, give it some consideration, and like one of our members said, maybe a little blockage built up in the back or something. What, okay, I don't, okay, I'm just asking questions.
You need these pictures, they're gonna be 10,000 words.
Okay?
Very important.
We don't want to cut down your grandfather's tree.
That's not a 70-year-old Japanese neighbor.
Not since, who was his name? What was his name?
Mike
Kuchelowski.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a dreamboat. He was a great guy.
Well,
first
Isn't that
and
his
third
job?
Wednesdays.
I don't think his job, I think his job's to tell you what you're doing wrong. Give you some advice on how to do it right.
Yeah.
He's not gonna draw plans or
No, I didn't say drug. Give advice as to how to recycle, put it in the back of the woods, is what it is point. Why can't he suggest?
That might work.
Oh, he can?
Okay, we good?
I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Can't you just advise him to recycle
When
this
they
thing in the
did
back?
the
How to
pavers
do
on
it, like,
Bedford Road,
obviously not
no,
like
my
it's
driveway
up
was.
It really does grade out, it really is.
I can put you on March 22nd.
The surveyors show. What's going on?
Well, it became the 22nd.
Huh?
Okay, so he's saying.
Motion moved to the 22nd, Chairman.
Let's officially deal with this.
Blocks around both
I,
sides.
no, I'm not saying to go,
Labeled on the
I'm
side.
saying to just say, this is what it's gonna do.
I'm good.
I'm sick of,
You just can't,
you
you can't.
just
That's what's gonna look at.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
He's here to apologize and to ask for permission.
So I think, based on the tree, the grade,
I think it was.
Yeah.
You live in this house? Do you live in this house?
The variance, I mean, I wanna go.
Why couldn't
Are you working in Justice City?
we just basically say, you know?
well, we had the letter from the engineer, he already was out there.
I know.
Yeah, but he is
You have
categorically
that,
saying
don't put
that
a notice of.
it's totally impossible to recycle this thing.
Who do I have to contact
I have to tell you, I haven't.
But don't go away, let's.
Nora, do we
I
need
find
any
it very
extensions?
suspicious.
Yes, we'll need extension.
Do I have a motion to carry this case to March
22nd.
22nd without further notice? Ladies and gentlemen, this case is being carried to March 22nd. You will not receive any more notices. This is your notice, and you'll provide us whatever extensions are necessary. And,
Nora, that's March 22nd or March 8th?
22nd. He
is
couldn't
there a
make
motion
the
to
8th.
that effect?
So moved.
Is there a
Second,
sec-
Snyder.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, we'll see you on the 22nd. And with regard to the engineer, you have to make the determination if you can work with the town engineer. If you can't, you may have to hire your own engineer. I'm sorry, but,
You should probably have the town, point out the town engineer, all those things you did to make sure that there was
Because I never
standing
met one,
water.
so I say, he never.
Because he may not be aware of them. So if you make him aware of them, that might change his mind.
He's now aware of the project. He's written a report. He's gonna, respond to you now.
Okay.
thank you. Okay, let's call case 2234. 986 Edwards Road, Edwards Holding LLC, seeking a D variance to operate a transmission repair shop. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, council, members of the board, Attorney Rosemary Stone Dougherty with the law firm of Jaggerbound and Wargap, here tonight on behalf of Edwards Holdings LLC, which is the owner of the property at 986 Edwards Road, also known as Block 766, Lot 16. It's located in the LIW-2/R3 overlay zone, and we're here tonight to ask for a D use variance, D1 variance, to allow an automotive specialty transmission shop to be one of the tenants in a multi-tenanted industrial building. With that being said, I'd like to give the board just a quick roadmap. I plan on calling Mr. Brad McCormick. He is the operator and owner of the Tri-County Transmission and Automotive LLC, which is the transmission tenant, to explain what the use is, how many employees he has, etc. And then we have Alexander Dougherty here tonight to provide the planning testimony.
Okay.
Just for the record, you do know it's a short board.
I was just gonna ask, because I thought I counted 7 when Mr. Williams came in. Am
1,
I
2,
going 6?
3, 4, 5. Oh, yeah, we got 7.
That's why I'm here.
I appreciate that, thank you. So with that being said, Mr. King, do you prefer to swear both at the same time, or what?
I'll swear one at a time,
Okay,
probably.
so this time, can we call Mr. McDormand?
Sir, you raise your right hand, you swear firm testimony you're about to give before the board, so help you God? And for the record, can you state and spell your name?
My name is Brad Michael McDermott, MCDERMOTT.
And you're the, what your factual testimony with regard to
Yes,
the operation of the business?
Owner, operator of Tri-County Transmission and Automotive LLC, which is the tenant.
Okay, thank you. You may proceed.
Mr. McDormand, by way of background, can you kind of give the board an idea what the nature of your use is?
Okay, well, the nature of my use, at the facility now is I rebuild and repair transmissions on mostly higher-end vehicles, and people also just bring me the transmission itself that I rebuild and then just give them back the trans. It's something I've been doing for 32 years now.
Okay.
You know, not at this location.
So in the nature of your use, is it appointment-based? Is it walk-in, drive-in? How do you get your customers?
Most of the time, people call me on the phone and I set up an appointment. I have
Could you
a
please
client-
speak into the
Yeah, so speak into the
microphone?
mic a little bit more.
Oh, I'm
please.
sorry.
I'm
Yeah.
old and have bad hearing.
90% of my customers call me on the phone first, and it's an appointment-based business. You know, I have a clientele base all over the state of New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, you know, so people drive, you know, and they would just drop me off the trans and/or the vehicle, you know.
So in the nature of your high-end, specialty transmission work, when did you come to operate at the site?
I started there on or about October 2020.
And when did you get the notification that your use was not permitted?
About the end of.
Would you please speak into the
I'm sorry,
microphone?
the end of 2021.
And during that point, obviously, there were delays with COVID and so forth with the offices. At that point, you notified the landlord, and that's when you hired myself and the planner, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
So you're operating there?
Yes.
Yes,
He's been
And
operating.
ever have any problems there?
no problems at all.
You don't store a lot of cars outside, or you don't have a lot of equipment or
There's,
junk transmissions hanging around or anything like that?
yeah, there's definitely no junk there.
I mean, I've driven by this place 1,000 times. I never even knew you were there.
Yeah,
He is on the sign.
yeah.
I
But
can't read that whole sign as you drive by.
Yeah, right.
with that being said, you operate, you have 2 bays at the location, correct?
I do. I have 2 bays, and then I have, parking spots outside as well.
And those spots are in the rear, right? You have the 4 spots in front of your bays and 4 on the side, both
Yes.
in the rear, correct?
Yes, and everything's in the rear of the building, so it's not like I have any cars out front of the building or transmissions laying out front of the building or anything like that.
About how many employees work for you,
3.
okay? And what are your hours of operation?
I open at 7:30 Monday through Friday and close at 5:30 PM, and then I'm there half a day on Saturday, 8 to 12.
Okay, and do you operate on Sundays?
No, we're closed.
Okay, so with your already being there for almost I guess already a full 2 years, do you feel that your use is compatible with the site and the other tenants?
It's working, yeah, it's been working, you know, and since I've been there, I have had, 2 fire inspections from the fire inspector that had came in there, and, they both had said to me that they've never been in a shop that's been so, clean and organized as the way I have it.
What do you do with your liquids? They properly dispose of them?
Yeah, I have a 275 EPA approved waste oil tank stored
Mhm.
inside. And when it gets about 3/4 of the way filled, I call, it's Lorco is a company that disposes of the waste oil.
This is all per the regulations and all that
per
stuff.
EPA and my insurance company, without a
Okay.
doubt.
No body work, right?
No body work,
No,
no
but-
tires, nothing.
No, okay.
No oil changes?
No,
the oil changes, no, definitely no engine oil changes, you know what I mean?
Transmission.
Change some
Transmission oil.
fluids
Yeah,
here and there,
Must be
yeah.
dealing with that.
Yeah.
So I have a question, if I may. This site was granted a planning board approval in 2021, correct?
That was the second approval. It was also, hold on, I have it in the application, Chaz. We've been in front of that board twice. We were there originally.
Yes. Little strip of, and they're building something next door. What are they building next door to you?
Next door is Carabella. When we came in with that approval, that's J Real Properties.
They're building a,
It's for one tenant. Carabella's going to be the tenant.
The guy that's doing the work is gonna be the tenant?
Correct.
The big foundation?
He owns it. Don Carabella and Dina Carabella, I represented them when they came in front of the board, yes.
Oh.
So they're building that to relocate out of their East Hanover site over into Parsippany. So that's gonna be one single user, but almost a very similar style building and development as you see with 986 Edwards Road, correct? Yes, I'm sorry. So I didn't put the year. I apologize. I can pull it out the Oprah. But we originally came in for preliminary and final site plan approval. And then we came back for amended preliminary and final site plan approval to have the outdoor storage line readjusted.
That's exactly where my question is, because on the current plan, we show parking spaces 2 and 4. In the area where, on the proposed conditions that were approved at the planning board, it would be an outdoor storage area. I think they increased the outdoor storage area by 8,000 feet, and there seems to be a conflict that is unresolved.
Right, so I actually had this discussion previously, and the landlord is here with me. The 4 spaces that are striped in between the dumpsters that are on the as-built that's on file with the town, and we also have it as an exhibit we brought here tonight of Chaz. Those spots were supposed to be part of the outdoor storage in the rear, because when we came to the board originally, unlike the site next door, the Carabella site we were just talking about, which has blanketed outdoor storage from the rear of the building all the way back because it's a single user, the issue the planning board had when we came in initially was, since it was a multi-tenanted building, they wanted to make sure that there was enough access behind the bays, right, to where the outdoor storage would be, so those multi-tenants could maneuver in the back and not just have it free-for-all with outdoor storage. So on the as-built, you'll see there are lines, right, with the long coming off there, Chaz, you see that?
Hold on, let me check. Right?
Yeah. Those long slots are allocated to the individual tenants, and that's where the outdoor storage goes. So his outdoor storage is gonna be allocated into one of those long slots, since those 4 parking spots were not properly shown in the outdoor storage line. So now we just have 4 random parking spots in the rear of the building.
But do we have to clarify the actual square, because the square footage in the amended approval is like 8,000 square feet?
Additional, correct.
Correct, so is that still the correct number?
That is the correct number. We're not expanding any outdoor storage. We're gonna stay within the parameters.
How many of the transmission, is it just cars, transmissions, or?
As he testified, he does specialty for cars, one-offs and racing. Those are when they ship him the trans, so he never has a vehicle, he just has the trans and ships it back.
Okay, so that would be what's stored outside?
No, there would be a car, well, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, is what you're talking about. At times, like we said, he'll have that slot. There would be cars, you know, when you're waiting on a part, sometimes they're in the shop, right, or in the bays. You know, you've been there 2 years, just explain to him, like, sometimes when a vehicle comes in and you're waiting on a part.
Yeah, sometimes I'm waiting months for parts, so I can't have the lift tied up. So believe it or not, I'll have to take the transmission out and push the car outside into a spot until we get the parts, and then it has to come back in. Ultimately, I don't want to do that, because I want to get the cars done and out and paid for, but Unfortunately, I can't manufacture the parts as well.
All right, I just wanted to clarify that between the planning board approval, that was last year, so, all right, that seems to work out.
You have plenty of space.
Plenty of space at this point.
And you talk about your two bays, I just want to clarify, the pictures we have, from the front view, I see two bays of the building, and then the back view, looks like 4 or 5, 6 or 7 bays.
The rear of the building actually has 8 bays,
Yeah,
and the
okay.
front has 2. It's a 10-bay building.
I got that. So you occupy the 2 bays in the back of the building? Okay,
Yes.
so that, looking at the back, you're on the far left of the building.
Yes.
The front of, then, you go all the way through that building?
No.
No, wait a minute. If you're looking at the back, you're at the far right
Yes, if I'm standing in the back facing the building, I'm all the way to the right.
to the right. The far left is the
If you were standing in the front.
Yeah, okay.
But like you were saying, I don't go all the way through
That's
from
what my
front to
question,
back.
you don't go all the way through the
Yeah.
building. Got it. Okay, thank you.
He was born in 47.
Do you have any more testimony?
No.
That's it?
No.
Are there any members of the public that are here for this application and wish to ask questions of the witness? I hear none and see none. We'll bring it next.
Yep. At this point, we'd like to call Mr. Alexander Dougherty, our professional
I think he
planner.
was actually 47.
Crazy.
Guy's as old as me.
Sir, you raise your right hand. You swear affirm testimony you're about to give before the board is true self you got?
I do.
And for the record, can you state and spell your name?
Alexander Dougherty, last name is Dougherty.
And your testimony is going to be planning?
Planning, yeah.
Expert,
Right,
and
yeah.
and all your licenses are in full force and effect?
Yes, they are.
And you've been sworn either before this board or other boards in the state?
2 or 3 times this year from you guys.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, the witness has been sworn and qualified.
Okay, Mr. Dougherty, I know you prepared some exhibits.
Yes.
Would we like to mark those first and hand them out before you give your testimony?
Yeah.
Mr. King is, one exhibit stapled together, how many pages?
10 slides. I also,
Do you want to just call it A1 and all 10
Do we have
together?
these in our packet?
Absolutely. A1 is
Yes.
a 10-page document.
so that's a 9-page packet. The 10th page is, kind of the as-built we were just.
Okay,
we
then
had
it's,
discussed.
want to do A1 and A2, or just
kind of come
A1?
up.
Just do A1.
Okay.
What we have is A1.
Yes, A1, 10-page document.
Oh, I like pictures. Here you go, John.
Color's a little blurry on these.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're gonna blame Staples on that.
Rose, is this is still bifurcated application?
It is not a bifurcated. On our original application, and as I noticed, since we're here just on the D variance and we're not proposing any exterior changes, the application I filed was for amended preliminary and final site plan with the D1, as a minor revision to the amended and the preliminary.
So it's an amendment, so it's a different board.
Yeah, but because you have jurisdiction under the D, under case law, you have the jurisdiction under the D to go ahead and make the minor amendment, since we're not proposing any exterior changes to the building or to the outdoor storage.
You're just looking
That's
for
how I
the
noticed
use
it.
variance.
What's that?
You're just looking for the use variance, the D1.
Right. Mhm.
That's all you need.
That's all we need. We don't need further amended site plan.
It's just the actual application, for some reason, originally submitted was, came across as bifurcated.
Yeah, I'm not sure why. Maybe just the way the box was, I'm not
Okay,
sure, but.
all right, that clarifies that, thank you.
Yeah, right.
Check, yeah. You did all this. You good?
Yep.
You good?
Yes.
You can be Chris.
All right, so the first page really, on that slide deck, A1, is a GIS map indicating the zone. This is pulled right off of the Parsippany-Troy Hills website.
Yep.
The red square in the middle of that light green is the property in question for orientation. And I think what's important to note is how we're butting against the highway. Right across in the light blue is your LIW2. Our zone for reference is the LIW2/R3. So there's a little bit of a distinct difference. When I look at this zone, page 2, again highlighted in red, this is produced by NJ GeoWeb. What I'd like to point out from aerial view is what's actually manifested along the Edwards Road corridor. The 2 red pins in the map, if you will, indicate other auto-centric repair uses in close proximity. As we kind of flip through the packet.
Excuse me 1 minute.
Yes.
The reason that's important to us is because they have the use variance.
No, so the LI2, and I'll get to it in just a moment, the LI2, LIW2 zone allows for auto services only in connection with auto sales of used vehicles on a 3-acre lot. In this particular map, they don't necessarily sell auto vehicles, but there are repair services located in these buildings. How they got there, I would assume by use variance.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Or not.
Or not.
Yeah, or not. We're not here to prove that.
Page 3 is more of a aerial drone site I took on April 9th earlier this year, indicating the property in question. This parking lot in the front is just at the front of the building. Those are 2 bays we just discussed that do not go through to the rear. As we can kind of see over the roof of the building, there is outside storage. The next page, page 4, this slide kind of shows a little bit of what we were discussing, the project coming online, Caravella next door, very much in a similar manner as what the subject site is. What this does kind of shows the access to the rear with the drive aisle off to the left of the building, to the back. Again, kind of discussion we had about the outside storage and keeping it towards the rear for circulation through the various 8 bays to the rear of the property. Slide 5 here, this is more a panning out view to give you for orientation of where we are in relation to the highway. As we can see, the property to our left of us is just kind of a swale. We don't really have a neighbor to the left. Neighbor to the right coming online is a very similar use. As we can see, we're right abutting the highway here. When I pan it around, kind of gives you a little bit more.
Can we stay on this one just for a minute?
On page 5?
Yeah.
Yes.
So the 2 bays we're looking at here at the top.
Yes.
The road view here, there's not going to be any outside storage of parts or vehicles or anything like that for this applicant, correct? That was testimony?
Say that one more time, sorry.
So all storage is in the back to the right of this, on this photo, okay?
Yes, to the rear.
So there'll be nothing out front here? in this
There is nothing up front.
Right, thank you.
And just for clarity, the front bays are not part of this
I got
tenant.
it, I got it.
In fact, I think if we flip back from page 5 to page 4, the 2 vehicles in our front, I believe, were mine and Brad's vehicle when he met me at the site. So, you know, there's nothing in the front of the building. It's landscape.
Thank you, got it.
So when I go to page 6, it's more orientating on what's manifested across the street here with the outside storage, the trucking. I believe this is Amico. And then page 7 kind of goes directly across Edwards Road where we have the fuel station, the Wawa. And next door to that, the 3-bay garage with the outside storage in connection with the residential dwelling detached, kind of showing basically the outside storage, the auto-centric uses. That's kind of what's manifested in this little pocket of Parsippany. And to the left of that, going down Edwards Road on slide 8, again, a very similar building off to the far left, and a large open storage for freight, as you can see on the right frame here, some of the freight containers there. Again, depicting very similar uses that we're proposing. Page 9 basically just kind of shows the bays. Top left, again, it's those front bays. When we go to the back, this is where Tri-County transmission is, the top right slide. We have 4 exclusive parking stalls in front of his bay, so he can get in and out. We have 4 exclusive parking stalls by the dumpsters, kind of where we were just mentioning. And then essentially to the right of that is his designated storage for parts and transmissions and various other things. The bottom right is,
To the right of that, where we currently see a couple trucks with snowplows in front of them?
yeah, that's designated towards the applicant.
Okay, thank you.
When we have, the bottom right is already signed on the wayfinding, and it's in compliance with your ordinance. And then page 10 is essentially what we discussed momentarily about the as-built. Yellow indicating kind of where the applicant is, and the building has some parking, but the bays behind that are for his outside storage.
And the yellow highlighted on the building is the attorney's error when I was highlighting, because we're only half that space, we don't have the 2 front bays.
So that's really.
The attorney back there?
So what we're talking about here is a very de minimis situation.
Yes.
I don't want to steal your thunder.
Steal it, feel free.
I'll wrap it up right now for you.
In an area that no one's gonna ever build a house over there. You're never gonna, and whatever residents they are, they disappear one by one. I think they all got poisoned by Sharky's dump at one point or another.
And next door to us in that property with the swale can never be built a house. That was part of when.
That's publicly, privately owned, that property?
That property was, provided over to, the highway.
Okay, so there's
Can
not.
never be developed.
There's a pond, standing pond there anyway, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, you never
but
build in it.
That was part of our original approval for the, landlord as Edwards Holding is, we had to acquire that and had to do the dedication of what used to be the old residential house there that was knocked down along one.
Mhm.
So essentially.
We've had 100 applications on Edwards Road over the years.
Right.
So essentially, we're here for a use variance. Like I said earlier, if we look at slide 1, the purple is the LIW2, where it does contemplate auto repairs in connection with sales of automobiles. This particular zone has the overlay for the R3. As we look at the use variance, there's four statutes for the variance for the Medici test: site suitability, positive, public impact, and, zone impact here. I'll go right to the end for you and just go right to the zone impact here. When I looked at kind of reconciling this use with the zone, I really don't think it's impairment to the zone would constitute a rezone. As we can see on the map, we're on the fringe of the zone. We're right abutting the highway. A lot of auto-centric uses here. What I would like to point out, though, is as I looked through the master plan to kind of get a feel for it, I did come across, and I'll read the quote: "It is recommended that the long-term plan for these areas should not include residential development. There are some isolated existing single-family homes in the industrial area along Edwards Road, which are dual zoned for LIW2 and R3. Although these existing residential uses are recognized and may remain in place, it is recommended that the dual zoning be eliminated and the border area be rezoned to the LIW2, where in that LIW2 zone, auto services are contemplated." What makes this particular use, in my opinion, better is the transmission shop is very surgical. It's got to be clean, it's efficient. We have other tenants. It's been there for about 2 years with no conflict, and they've worked in harmony. When I look at the site suitability, if you will, suitable by virtue of its context and condition, the context being that this area abuts a highway. It's good for the shipments, the distribution, receiving, and shipping off custom-made transmissions across the state in the tri-state area. Contextually, this area, again, fits with the context of the auto-centric. We have the large fueling station right across the street, other auto-centric uses there as well, light industrial, flex warehousing. If I had to look at any particular area in Parsippany where auto uses would be, this would be the spot.
Thank you.
If from a negative impact, I really don't see a negative impact. We've been here for 2 years. The site flows efficiently and functions without issues. And I believe from a positive perspective here, the special reasons, if you will, I believe this application promotes purpose of the land use law, purpose A, G, I, and M, to encourage municipal action, guide appropriate use and development in a manner which promote the public safety, morals, general welfare. G, to provide sufficient space and appropriate locations for variety of uses. I, desirable visual environment. We are not changing any alterations to the beautiful building as it is. And M, to encourage coordination of various public and private procedures. And with that, I think we have a pretty clean, straightforward application.
And unlike a lot of the other applicants, this applicant did apply, but due to issues with zoning and the departments happening during COVID, unfortunately, the result wasn't found out until a significant amount later, almost a year. So this isn't a case of, they just went ahead and did it. And
Your CTO is held up for a year?
yeah, they made the application, they put it in, there was,
And he had a move. Okay.
Got it.
What are these transmissions for, race cars?
Some of them, yes.
Street stuff or drag stuff or?
Drag cars, mostly, rock crawling, bug racing, buggies.
So when you said luxury, I was under the impression it was Jaguars, Lamborghinis. Is that too?
These things are more expensive than that.
I wouldn't consider them luxury, though.
the race ones cost a lot more money.
No, I get it, but I'm not getting in one in a fur coat, and that's my definition of luxury.
For him, it's a higher rate.
Right. Okay, got it. All right, thank you.
Any other questions by the board? Nope. No. And I'm gonna say there's no members of the public here that have any questions. You don't have any other witnesses?
No, sir.
Do we need to go into conference?
No, I don't think so.
Someone, make a comment as to why we should approve this?
Well, I think the case has been well made, and clearly we're not here to change the zoning, we're just to give a use variance on a site that's already highly used that way, so I'll be voting in favor of this application.
Thank you. Somebody frame a resolution so we can go home?
Application 2234, Edwards Holding, 986 Edwards Road, Block 766, Block 16, Zone LIWZ, that we, R3, that we grant the D variance to operate a transmission repair shop on premises.
Is there a second?
Second, Eddie.
Any discussion? Nora, call the roll?
Berkowitz.
Yes.
Mazzarella.
Yes.
Parikh.
Yes.
Ready.
Yes.
Snyder.
Yes.
Willen.
Yes.
Hurricane.
Yes. Results of variance is granted. Good luck.
Thank you.
That was easy. That was easier than 3 residentials I had tonight.
Which we never finished.
Which we never got to first base.
Wow, four's not bad.
The 70-year-old survey, though, that's a good one.
I know.
Is it
I'm
possible?
surprised, Jay.
Do you think a title company would accept that?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. But as you probably know, a lot of business nowadays do not require survey.
Wow. Okay, motion to adjourn?
Second.
Any discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
There you go, turn it off.
Is that what it is?